My name is Emmie Vale, 33 years old. Champagne beads along the rim of my glass, cold and perfect, just before it slips from my fingers. The flute tumbles in slow motion, a tiny meteor headed for the hardwood my sister insisted on refinishing last month, and the crash slices through laughter as if someone pulled the fire alarm. Bubbles hiss across the floor like spilled secrets. My mother claps her hands twice, a brittle sound, then recovers into a party smile that doesn't reach her eyes. My father studies the ceiling molding. Jessica strokes her belly with a tender, theatrical touch, as if all of us are merely stage lights catching her best angle. What do you mean transferred? My voice crawls up from somewhere tight in my chest. It comes out small, almost polite, as if I'm asking where the bathroom is. Jessica's laugh is light and dismissive. The deed is in my name. She doesn't look at me when she says it. She looks at her reflection in the bay window, then at the mantel where they've displayed the framed mortgage papers I signed last spring. Like a certificate of achievement we're all meant to admire. My mortgage. My name in clean serif type. The ink I bled for after 11 years of double shifts and holidays on call. Mom glides in, palms up, voice soothing as lotion. It's just for stability, Emmie. For the baby. You're still young. You'll buy another one. I don't move. I can't. The room tilts half a degree. I feel the head of the champagne stem under my shoe, a tiny crunch. I paid for it, I say, and I almost don't recognize the steel in my tone. I signed the papers. It's my house. Dad clears his throat the way he does before announcing that I'm being difficult. Let's not make a scene. Family helps family. Jessica's hand makes another pass across her stomach, a gesture so practiced it could have its own nickname. Her boyfriend watches me with that assessing look I've seen in worried families outside ICU rooms, a glance that says, I know this is bad, but I'm not responsible, not yet. How is this even possible? The words steady as I force them out. The deed is in my name. Mom lifts her glass. Come on, toast to Jessica's new beginning. And just like that, a chorus of congratulations. You deserve it rises. Some enthusiastic, some nervous. People always pick the loudest voice when they're not sure what's right. I back away until my shoulders touch the cool paint of the hallway. The mantel calls to me like a dare. I take in the framed mortgage copy, then a second frame tucked behind photos, a warranty deed page I don't remember framing. Beyond the glass, I see it. A quitclaim deed, the letters of my name stuttering in an imitation of my hand. The looping M is wrong. The M I learned to make in 3rd grade has a tail like a ribbon. This one is tight, pinched. The party swells. My vision narrows. I think of the notebook I kept in my scrub pocket, a grid of figures, 11 years of savings to a down payment I could touch. I think of the call last April. Emmie, we're losing the house, please. We have 30 days. The cinnamon-thin sound of my mother crying, the way I canceled 3 viewings, transferred $182,000, and signed for the rest because family was supposed to mean enough. I think of how we promised that once they moved their things, I'd find renters and start building something of my own. I slip my phone from my clutch and text the only person who has never told me I was too much or too cold for asking questions. Sarah, something is wrong. Can you meet? The dots appear and vanish. Then, always, bring everything you can. A laugh from the living room startles me. Jessica is receiving embraces the way queens receive tribute. My mother floats from guest to guest, palms touching elbows, voice honeyed, eyes restless. Dad has chosen the mantel again. He straightens the frame the way he straightens logic to match whatever outcome Mom has already decided. It's their choreography. She directs, he justifies. I inhale, count to 4 like I teach anxious patients before their first central line. The hallway smells like lemon oil and denial. I step into my mother's home office, the door giving a soft, treacherous creak. Venetian blinds slice moonlight into long gray arrows across the desk where every family decision gets wrapped in ribbon and called love. Top drawer, bills nested in labeled folders, utilities, insurance, medical, real estate. I pull the thick folder free and lower myself behind the desk as footsteps pass in the hall, Jessica's voice bright. She's dramatic when she's upset. My pulse hums in my throat. I spread papers across the carpet. Original purchase documents for my parents' old home, recent mortgage statements with my bank's name, my automatic payments, each line a small bead of my life threaded forward. And then the pair of deeds. Warranty, with my name, clean and sure. Quitclaim with my signature, the counterfeit tail on the M. I photograph everything, flash off, hands shaking. Behind them, a letter on an attorney's letterhead. Advise against proceeding. Potential fraud exposure. It's the tone you use when you've already said don't and your client wants how. Footsteps again, closer. Papers repocketed. Folder returned. Lamp chain clicked to darkness. I ghost out through the side entrance, lungs aching like I've run the night shift twice in a row. The party's laughter floats behind me, weightless and cruel. In the driveway, I lean against the siding and let the better part of a minute pass. Somewhere inside, a toast lifts again to a future someone else just assigned to my name. On the ride back to my apartment, I keep seeing the wrong M. It's a small thing, a letter's posture, but I've seen patients decline for less. A lab value just off, a pupil sluggish, a rhythm that ought to be sharper. Tiny deviations are where truth lives. I replay a memory I'd filed under quirky. Mom asking years ago if I'd ever considered changing my signature to be cleaner, setting a practice sheet next to my place at dinner like she was teaching me cursive again. I'd laughed, copied one line to appease her, then gone back to my messy ribboned M. Tonight I wonder if my one line ended up as a template for theft. At home, the fridge hums like a tired nurse. I set the captured photos to upload to a drive Sarah and I share. My phone vibrates. Dad, your mother is upset. Why are you doing this? Second vibration. Jessica. If you keep this up, I'll make sure everyone knows who you really are. I stare at the screen a long time, the words running through a filter I didn't have before tonight. They read like diagnosis codes. Manipulation, deflection, escalation. I text Sarah again. Meet at Denny's, 7 a.m. We'll bring everything. She replies with a thumb up and a heart. The older cousin's shorthand for I've got you, come hell or depositions. I shower with the water hot enough to pink my skin and think about anesthetics. We tell patients they'll feel a pinch and a burn. The truth is, some pain sneaks past the warning and sets up house where you sleep. I climb into bed and stare at the hairline crack on the ceiling that looks like a coastline. Somewhere across that chalk-thin ocean, the people who taught me to come when called have learned how to call without love. I drift for an hour, then surface with my heart pounding as if the crash from earlier has finally reached me. I make tea, I don't drink. I open my nurse's pocket notebook to a clean page and write, slowly, like prescribing the first antibiotic in a septic storm, evidence, strategy, justice. 3 words, a new code status for a life they expected to chart for me. Before dawn, I check the photos again. Zoom in on the tail of the M, the angle in the N, the openness of the A. I lay the warranty deed next to the quitclaim on my screen and let the mismatch teach me what it teaches me every day in the ICU. Patterns tell you who's lying. The humming fridge, the tick of the stove's cooling metal, the city still dark outside. Everything is quieter than my mind. At 6:54, Sarah texts, parking now, booth in the back, coffee waiting. I pull on scrubs because they're armor and truth, tie my hair, and lock my door. In the hallway mirror, I see someone I'll have to get to know, someone who will not be handled, soothed, or explained to, someone who will trace a forged tale on a letter all the way back to the hand that drew it. As I step into the morning air, the city lifts its eyelids. The sky is a thin, promising gray. My phone buzzes one more time. Unknown number. We should talk. Alone. I don't answer. I already know where my morning begins. Not with mercy, not with rage, but with proof. I walk faster. The door to the diner jingles, warm and familiar. Sarah is waving from the back, a pile of folders waiting. The second mug set at an angle only we use. When I sit, she squeezes my hand. No questions. I slide my phone toward her, screen lit with images that glitter like the surface of a cold river. We both lean in. We both see the tail on the M. This is going to hurt, I say, and it sounds almost clinical. It will, Sarah answers, and then it won't. Outside, morning finally brightens. Inside, I begin. Sarah slides the coffee toward me, steam drifting into the tired fluorescent light, and I realize how much I've missed the ordinary mercy of being with someone who believes me without a presentation. Her nails tap the ceramic twice. Show me everything. I lay out the phone first. Photos of the warranty deed with my signature, a ribboned M, and the quitclaim with its tight counterfeit, the attorney letter warning of potential fraud exposure, and the mortgage statements that might as well be diary entries in bank ink. The diner hums with the low tide of morning regulars. A man in a neon vest, reading sports headlines, a pair of nurses laughing at something they won't remember by lunchtime, a waitress scribbling checks with the speed of a pianist. Sarah scrolls slowly, her face going still in the way it does when she's putting puzzle corners together. You were right to photograph everything. She looks up. We're going to need chain of custody on the original documents, but first, verification. As if conjured, Michael appears. Khakis, scuffed briefcase, the gentle exhaustion of a public defender who learned long ago that the truth is rarely tidy. Sarah had texted him on her way in. He sits, orders black coffee with a nod, and asks permission to hold my phone like a surgeon asking to touch a pulse. When he sees the two signatures side by side, the vein in his temple ticks. This is a forgery, he says, no hesitation. But we don't win with adjectives. We win with analysis. What's our first move? I ask him. 2 tracks, he replies. Legal and administrative. Legal. We file for a temporary restraining order and a lis pendens to freeze any transfer. Administrative. We confirm county records. If there was no foreclosure on your parents' house, that helps establish motive and pretext. Also, he zooms on the notary seal, frowns. We find this notary. He pinches and expands the screen, tracing a finger along the inked seal. Initials are CR, ring a bell? Colleen, Sarah says quietly. Jessica's college friend. She's at a title office on Brighton Boulevard. A tiny shiver moves up my arms. It's one thing to parse patterns. It's another to see the line connect from our living room to a name with a face. I can suddenly remember Colleen's laugh at a holiday party years ago, all breath and teeth, the way she called my mother Mrs. Vale like they were bound by something real. Jessica had said then, Colleen does paperwork all day. She could notarize my whole life. It had been a joke, the kind whose edge only shows up later. Michael sips coffee that looks like it could resuscitate the dead. If the notary didn't witness the signature, if she stamped under duress, or worse, knowingly, it's a smoking gun. But we don't spook anyone yet. We move quiet and fast. He draws a rectangle on a napkin, labels corners with neat block letters. TRO, lis pendens, records, analysis. We'll also need exemplars of your signature from neutral third parties, the mortgage, your license, a bank signature card, so a forensic examiner can compare strokes and pressure. Your mother may claim you gifted the house to your sister. A quitclaim can affect a gift. The signature is the hinge. My throat tightens at the word gift, a thing twisted until it means erase yourself politely. Sarah touches my wrist. We're going to the clerk's office right now. We split tasks like a triage team. Michael will draft the pleadings in his office around the corner, file electronically within hours, and call a handwriting analyst he trusts, someone who hates theatrics and loves ink. Sarah and I will drive to the county building to pull the foreclosure history on my parents' place and the recording history on mine. If there's been any attempt to sell or further encumber your property, Michael warns, we need to know today. He glances at the diner clock. If they push a sale by close of business, we could be 2 signatures behind. The world refocuses. Outside, the cold looks cleaner than it feels. Sarah drives. I call my bank from the passenger seat to alert their fraud department and request an internal hold on any payoff request not authorized by me. The woman on the phone, whose voice could calm a skittish horse, adds a note and a password to the account. No disbursements without this code, she says, documenting now. At the clerk's office, fluorescent lights hum a tired hymn. The counter is a scuffed stage where stories meet paper and pretend to be facts. Sarah's county badge earns us soft smiles and quick hands. A clerk named Devin pulls up the parcel numbers, tapping keys like he's coaxing a truth out of a reluctant witness. He prints the history on my parents' house first. A list of mortgages, releases, tax payments, all clean lines of ordinary responsibility. No notice of default. No trustee sale. No bank breathing down anyone's neck. Devin turns the screen so we can see. No foreclosure activity in the last 5 years, he says, then hesitates, eyes flicking to me. I'm sorry. The apology opens a small cave in my chest where grief echoes. I'd told myself some piece of it might be true. The emergency they'd sold me, the urgency that made me split my dream in half and hand the better part across a kitchen table. It would have been easier, maybe, to forgive bad judgment under pressure than to stand in this bright room and name it what it is. Sarah squeezes my shoulder. Verified, she murmurs, and her voice moves like a stitch through frayed cloth. We pull the chain on my property next. Devin prints a fresh page. Warranty deed, me. Deed of trust, my lender. Quitclaim deed, to Jessica, stamped by CR, recorded 2 weeks after my closing. My stomach drops. 2 weeks. I think of that Saturday brunch where my mother perfumed the kitchen with cinnamon rolls, of the way she had asked me to sign a delivery receipt for a package the courier forgot. I had laughed, corrected her grocery list instead, and left early for a Sunday shift. 2 weeks. They didn't even let the paint dry on my name. Devin prints certified copies, embossing them with a mechanical thunk. His eyes linger on the notary stamp. CR shows up a lot on small private transfers, he says, then catches himself and adds quickly, I mean, common around here. Tight community. It's the polite version of a rumor. We step into the hallway with our stack, the paper warm in a way that feels obscene. Michael calls as we reach the elevator. Tro and Lee's pendants drafted. Judge Miller's docket has an ex parte window at 3. I'll need you there, Emmie, to swear the declaration. Can you make it? Yes. It surprises me how strong the word sounds. Good. Also, handwriting analyst can see you at noon. He wants 5 genuine exemplars and the questioned deed copy. Bring your mortgage, license, anything you sign frequently. Sarah drives, and I call the hospital to request emergency leave. Dr. Wilson's assistant doesn't ask me to explain. Of course, she says, and I feel something unclench between my ribs. At Michael's office, the world condenses to the smell of paper and toner. He sits me in a conference room and hands me the declaration pages. The story looks different when it wears the sober suit of sworn testimony. Dates, amounts, titles, the skeleton where the body will later hang. I sign carefully. Anchor strokes, steady. Each letter a reclamation. Michael witnesses, stamps, slides the bundle into a Redwell. We'll run these to the courthouse in an hour. Analyst first. The handwriting examiner, a compact man with readers perched halfway down his nose, greets us in a room that smells of dust and patience. He lays a sheet of heavy bond paper on a glass, weights the corners with coin rolls, and leans in like a jeweler. Write your full name 10 times, he says, at your normal speed, no embellishments, then your initials, then the date. Don't try to perform consistency, just be. I write, the muscle memory of my M settling into its ribboned tail without thinking. The A opening the way it always does, the N formed like a bridge. He compares my strokes to the mortgage copies, tracing loops and pressure points with a translucent overlay. When he finally reviews the quitclaim signature, his mouth tightens. Different rhythm, he says. Different line quality. Whoever wrote this was copying a shape, not writing a name. He points to hesitation blips, microscopic pauses, where the forger slowed to mimic my bends. I can testify with high confidence these are not the same hand. Relief doesn't arrive as joy. It arrives as the absence of a weight I hadn't realized I was compensating for. I breathe deeper. Michael pays the retainer. The examiner promises a preliminary letter by evening and a full report by week's end. Back at the office, Michael reviews our timeline. If Judge Miller grants the TRO and records accept the Ellis pendants before close of business, they can't sell or refinance without tripping alarms. That buys us space to litigate the merits, invalidating the quitclaim, quiet title in your name. We'll also consider a civil theft claim, but today is about triage. Stop the bleed. Do we warn them? I ask. The question feels childish on my tongue, like a reflex I haven't unlearned. Call home, be gracious, give everyone a chance to be decent. Michael's expression is kind, not indulgent. The court warning is the only one that matters right now. My phone vibrates. Mom, answer me. We need to talk in private. Dad, your mother is unwell. This stress is on you. Unknown number. I think you should stop before someone gets hurt. The last one coils cold in my gut. Sarah reads my face and holds out her hand. Let me. She photographs the messages, forwards them to Michael. He nods. Potential intimidation. Will preserve. At 2:47, we clear security at the courthouse. The elevator lurches to the fourth floor. I count the seconds between floors to calm my breath, an old OR trick. Judge Miller's clerk takes Michael's folder, flips through the tabbed exhibits, and reduces a life to whether the staples are neat. They are. In the hallway, a woman in pearls scolds a man in a suit about a missed filing. A teenager in a hoodie stares at the marble like it might tell him his fortune. We're all here with our paper and our fear. When the clerk finally returns, her tone is brisk but not unkind. Judge will see you now. Inside, the courtroom is cooler than the hall, and the air tastes faintly of lemon cleanser and old wood. Michael does what good lawyers do. He tells the truth like it is inevitable. He places the warranty deed and the quitclaim side by side beneath the judge's gaze, then layers in the examiner's preliminary letter, the county's no foreclosure certification, the bank's confirmation of my sole mortgage, the screenshots of messages that prefer performance over accountability. Judge Miller tilts her glasses, studies the mouths of the letters like they are suspects. Relief granted, she says finally. Temporary restraining order as requested. Lease pendants to be recorded immediately. Set hearing on a preliminary injunction for next week. The clerk stamps the order. The sound is the best percussion I've ever heard. As we step back into the corridor, my phone lights with another text from an unknown number. Deals expire. Do the right thing. Michael doesn't even look up from his calendar. They're the ones out of time. We head straight to the recorder to file the lease pendants. The clerk clocks the judge's order, takes the document with practiced reverence, and stamps it into the world. A digital note attaches to my parcel like a warning flare visible from space. No transfer without court. We walk out into late afternoon light that feels new. On the courthouse steps, Sarah lifts her face to the sky, smiling in a way I haven't seen since before all of this. First breath, she says. I nod, press my palm over the steady pulse at my throat, and let myself take it. Somewhere across town, my mother is rehearsing a speech about sacrifice. Somewhere, Jessica is telling herself that stability justifies means. Somewhere, a notary is deciding whether to keep quiet or get right with the truth. And here, on these steps, with ink drying in the files behind us, the clock that used to control me starts to run for me instead. The next Monday morning begins with the chaos I know too well. The hospital lobby humming with the squeak of wheelchairs, the smell of burnt coffee, voices overlapping in a language only long-shift nurses can decode. I balance a patient chart on my forearm, eyes tracking vitals that never rest, when Deborah's hand grips my shoulder. Her face is pale, her voice lowered. Emmie, your mom and Jessica are downstairs. Security called. My heart lurches once, hard. 3 days of ignored calls, texts I let rot unread, and now they've dragged their performance into the one place I thought sacred, my work. I hand the chart to Deborah with hands steadier than I feel. Cover this patient. My shoes echo against the tile as I walk toward the elevator. I remind myself of the ICU mantra, don't run unless the patient is dying. The elevator doors open on a scene already curated for maximum audience. My mother stands in the center of the lobby, tissue crumpled, mascara streaking like war paint. Jessica hovers just behind, her pregnancy more visible now beneath a fitted dress, one hand resting protectively on her belly, the other gripping an oversized purse like it holds ammunition. Several visitors pause mid-step. A couple of volunteers pretend to reorganize pamphlets just to watch. When Mom spots me, her wail slices through the air. Why are you tearing this family apart, Emmie? After everything we've done for you, her voice carries to the far wall. I force my steps to remain measured. This isn't the place for this. Jessica moves forward, eyes shining with cultivated tears. The stress could harm the baby. Is that what you want, Emmie? For my child to suffer because you're stubborn? She presses her hand to her stomach with such precision it could be a photograph staged for the evening news. I glance at Carl from security, hovering discreetly near the reception desk. His eyes meet mine, steady, waiting for me to give permission to intervene. Lower your voices, I say evenly. This is a hospital. Mom's sobs hitch into something sharper. We wouldn't have to come here if you'd answer your phone. Your father hasn't slept in days, worrying about what you're doing to this family. How can you be so cruel? Around us, staff slow their pace, pretending to check schedules on clipboards. Two of my ICU colleagues stand by the coffee kiosk, concern etched into their posture. I know exactly what my family wants: to humiliate me into surrender, to let public pressure break the bones of my resolve. I've asked you to leave, I say. Not until you drop this ridiculous legal nonsense, Mom snaps, the tissue trembling in her fist. Jessica needs stability. The baby needs a home. Her hand snatches at my wrist, grip sharp as scissors. Carl steps forward instantly. Ladies, this is not permitted in patient areas. I'll need to ask you to leave. My daughter works here, Mom protests, voice pitched high enough to draw more eyes. I have every right. You have the right to schedule a visit during her break, Carl cuts in firmly, but a disturbance violates hospital policy. Please step outside. Jessica bursts into sobs, clutching her belly as if she's protecting the future from me. She's trying to steal my baby's home after everything we've given her. The absurdity almost cracks a laugh in my throat, but I hold it. Laughter now would look monstrous. Instead, I focus on the marble floor, where her crocodile tears drip like stage blood. Carl guides them toward the exit, his presence a wall against their dramatics. Mom resists enough to perform her resistance, but not enough to be physically removed. Her voice rises, perfectly calibrated for the curious crowd. How could you be so selfish, Emmie? Your sister needs that house. We raised you better. The sliding doors swallow them, but their echo lingers. The lobby hums with whispers. I stand frozen until Nurse Wilson, kind-eyed and steady, touches my elbow. Dr. Wilson wants to see you. The walk to his office is an execution march of stairs. Some avert their eyes politely. Others offer sympathetic half smiles, but I feel my family's performance already wrapping around me like ivy, threatening to strangle the roots I've built here. Dr. Wilson doesn't wait behind his desk. He meets me halfway, his weathered face carrying not anger but concern. Sit down, Emmie. I perch on the edge of the chair, voice rehearsed to apology. I'm sorry for the disturbance. It won't happen again. He shakes his head. That's not why I called you in. Your family has been contacting staff, including me, with some troubling accusations. Heat floods my cheeks. Of course. They wouldn't stop at spectacle. They'd plant poison in every ear that listens. Dr. Wilson leans forward, forearms resting on his knees. What can we do to support you? The question slices me open. Support? Me? After days of being painted a villain, the unexpected kindness threatens to crack my composure. Sir, My voice fractures. They've turned everyone against me. He pushes a box of tissues across the desk. Not everyone. You've given 11 years here, Emmie. Holidays, double shifts, sacrifices most people never see. That doesn't go unnoticed. You're family to us. The words pierce deeper than the accusations. My chest tightens, tears spilling despite my attempt to dam them. I just wanted to help them, I whisper. And now... You need to take care of yourself first, Dr. Wilson interrupts gently. I'm putting you on emergency leave with pay. No arguments. The ICU will be covered. Your fight isn't just personal, it's about protecting what's right, and we stand with you. His assurance steadies me. Not all institutions crumble under pressure. Some reinforce. As I leave his office, Deborah intercepts me, slipping a folded note into my hand. Sarah called. She's organizing everything for court. Michael filed the restraining order. Your house is frozen, and... Her voice softens. The unit worked out a schedule. Someone will be with you whenever you need. I unfold the note, Sarah's handwriting looping across the page. Document safe. We've got your back. Meet tonight. For the first time since the champagne glass shattered, I feel the faintest rise of hope. My family has tried to make me doubt myself, isolate me, drown me in their story. But here, among colleagues and cousins who refuse to buy the performance, I begin to see another truth. They're not invincible. They're just loud. And I've learned how to listen for the silence beneath the noise. That silence, I realize as I walk out into the evening air, is where my real power lives. By Tuesday morning, Michael's email pings my phone before I've finished my first cup of coffee. Preliminary ruling in your favor. Turo granted. Lease pendens recorded. I read the words 3 times, letting the reality seep in. My house is frozen in place, untouchable, until the court says otherwise. It's not safety, not yet, but it's air. Sarah arrives with bagels, and her county badge clipped at a jaunty angle, the way she does when she knows we'll be facing down bureaucrats. She spreads the files across my kitchen table. certified deeds embossed in county ink, foreclosure records that prove nothing ever threatened my parents' house, and the handwriting examiner's first report. The letter is stark in its clarity. The question and signature was produced with hesitation and tremor, inconsistent with the natural flow of Ms. Vale's genuine signature. In my professional opinion, this is a forgery. Clean as it gets, Sarah says, tapping the page. They'll fight, but this is a hammer. Michael calls minutes later, his voice carrying both exhaustion and fire. We'll set a preliminary injunction hearing for next week. Judge Miller will expect live testimony. That means we'll need your mortgage officer, the handwriting examiner, maybe even the notary if we can get her under subpoena. At the mention of the notary, my stomach knots. Colleen, Jessica's friend. Her laugh from years ago echoes in my head. She's a name on a seal now, but I can still see her eyeliner, wings sharp enough to cut glass. I imagine her stamping that page, eyes flicking away, hands steady. Did she hesitate? Did she wonder? By afternoon, the first cracks appear online. My mother posts on Facebook, a long, tearful plea, paired with an old family photo. In it, she cradles toddler Jessica in her arms, while I stand slightly apart, holding a toy no one remembers. Her caption reads, "Our family is being torn apart by selfishness. My younger daughter has forgotten the meaning of sacrifice, trying to steal a home from her pregnant sister. Please pray for us during this heartbreaking time." The likes roll in like soldiers falling into formation. Neighbors comment with sympathy. Old church friends chime in with prayers. But then, unexpectedly, a disruption. Tom C., Jessica's boyfriend, types beneath the post. The truth isn't being told here. The thread detonates. Some demand details. Others accuse him of betrayal. My phone buzzes as Sarah texts, "He's cracking. Let's move carefully." That evening, Sarah and I sit in her living room, the glow of her laptop painting our faces blue. She scrolls through county logs until she stops suddenly. Here, her finger taps the screen. The notary, Colleen R., has stamped 25 quitclaim deeds in the last year, all involving small family transfers. That pattern, it's going to look suspicious under a microscope. Michael calls again, low and urgent. The notary's our weak link. If she admits she didn't witness the signature, the forgery case hardens to stone. And if she did it knowingly, she faces her own liability. Pressure like that breaks people. I think of ICU nights when patients' bodies finally revealed what they'd hidden for days. How symptoms swell until denial collapses. People crack, sometimes quietly, sometimes all at once. Wednesday, the hospital cafeteria becomes my courtroom rehearsal. Deborah and 2 other colleagues play cross-examination, firing possible questions as I practice calm answers. Did you gift the house? No, I purchased it outright. Did you ever intend for your sister to live there? Temporarily, while they moved belongings. Nothing more. Their encouragement becomes a shield, layer by layer. But outside the hospital walls, my mother sharpens her performance. Another post surfaces, Jessica cradling her belly, captioned, "Every child deserves stability. Every sister should care enough to provide it." It's surgical, slicing me into the role of villain with the softness of maternal appeal. And then my phone buzzes again. Tom, I need to talk. Alone. I was there when they discussed the papers. I can't be part of this anymore. I stare at the words, my pulse thrumming. Here it is, the fault line. If he testifies, he pulls the thread that unravels everything. But if he wavers, if Jessica reels him back in, he becomes another weapon against me. Sarah leans over, reading the message. He's scared, and scared people tell the truth when given safe ground. She looks at me. Do you trust him? I don't know, I admit, but I know fear when I see it. That night, I dream of signatures, my looping M chasing the pinched forgery across endless pages. When I wake, sweat-soaked and shaking, I understand something new. They aren't just trying to take my house. They're trying to rewrite who I am. At dawn, Michael's email arrives. Hearing confirmed. Monday, 9 o'clock a.m. Judge Harriman. Prepare for war. I close my laptop, breathe into the silence, and whisper to the room, then we'll give them war. The courthouse on Monday hums with its own brand of tension. Heels striking marble, murmured names called through oak doors, papers shuffling like restless birds. I stand beside Michael, clutching my folder of originals, my ICU badge still pinned to my blouse like armor. My breath comes steady, but every nerve in me knows this day can redraw the lines of my life. Jessica sits across the aisle, pregnancy framed like a shield. She wears a pale dress that makes her glow under the fluorescent lights, though the tightness around her mouth betrays strain. Beside her, my mother dabs at imaginary tears with a lace handkerchief, sighs just loud enough to reach the benches. My father stares straight ahead, jaw locked, as if refusing to take sides will somehow excuse everything. Judge Harriman enters, robes flowing, glasses perched low. "Sullivan versus Vale," she intones, mispronouncing my name in a way that makes me flinch, though Michael corrects it gently. The case is called Property Dispute, Alleged Forgery. Words that sound so neat compared to the mess behind them. Michael begins with calm precision, laying out the evidence like surgical tools. "Your Honor, my client purchased this property outright, $182,000 down, mortgage solely in her name. Shortly thereafter, a quitclaim deed surfaced, purporting to transfer ownership to her sister. We contend the signature is forged." He slides forward the documents: warranty deed, mortgage statements, the examiner's letter. The judge studies them, eyebrows narrowing. "And you have verification?" Michael nods, gesturing. The handwriting examiner steps forward, compact and exact, testimony crisp as his overlays. He points to hesitation marks, stroke pressure, natural rhythm. "This is not her hand. I state so with high confidence." His certainty vibrates through the room. Then the bank officer testifies. "Ms. Vale was the sole applicant. All funds came from her accounts. No other party contributed." Each word tightens the chain around the forgery. Jessica's attorney rises, a slick man named Blackwell, suit sharp enough to cut. "Your Honor, this was a gift. A generous sister ensuring stability for a pregnant sibling. The quitclaim deed reflects that intention." His tone drips with indignation at my supposed cruelty. Judge Harriman peers over her glasses. "Pregnancy doesn't entitle anyone to property transfer, especially not with allegations of forgery." Blackwell reddens, pivots. "At most, this is a misunderstanding." My mother leans forward, voice trembling. "She knew. Emmie agreed to help Jessica. We talked about it at the kitchen table." I rise slowly, my voice quiet but clear. "I agreed to help them move their belongings, not to surrender my future." The words land with more weight than volume. The judge tilts her head. "Ms. Vale, did you ever intend this transfer as a gift?" "No, Your Honor. I intended to purchase a home. My home." The silence that follows feels like oxygen finally filling starving lungs. When the notary is called, she wilts under questioning. Colleen's eyeliner is sharp, but her voice wavers. "I stamped it, yes. I wasn't present when it was signed. Jessica brought it to me. She said Emmie had already signed." The admission detonates in the courtroom. Michael doesn't gloat, he just nods, as though gravity itself has done the work. My father shifts for the first time, his shoulders sagging. He murmurs, almost to himself, "Your mother went too far." The judge sets down her pen. "I am extending the restraining order. The property remains in Ms. Vale's name pending full trial." It's not the final verdict, but it's a fortress wall around me. Outside, in the marble lobby, Jessica hisses at Tom, her boyfriend. "You said you'd stand with me." He shakes her hand off, his voice low but hard. "I stood too long. I'm done lying for you." He stalks away, leaving her pale and trembling. My mother corners my father, voice sharp, but his eyes look elsewhere, anywhere but her face. The machine that once ran with seamless gears now grinds with broken teeth. Michael gathers our papers, calm as ever. They'll push for settlement soon. They've lost too much ground, but we won't accept crumbs. "What do we demand?" I ask. "Everything. Full restoration, legal fees covered, no contact for 90 days minimum." His tone is steel. They don't get to walk away clean. That night, exhaustion crashes over me in Sarah's guest room. Yet beneath it pulses something new. Not just survival, but strategy. The fortress has cracks, and I've finally found the hammer. As I drift towards sleep, I hear my mother's voice replay in memory. Family helps family. And I realize sometimes the only help you can give is to stop letting them take. It's 7:14 a.m. when the pounding starts. 3 sharp raps, a pause. then two more. The signature knock of my mother, coded into my bones since childhood. My coffee sloshes in its mug as I freeze, heart pounding. Of course, they've come early, before my shift, to catch me unarmored. Emmie, open up. We need to talk. Her voice cuts through the door, pitched for the neighbors to hear. I set the mug down carefully, breathe the way Dr. Wilson taught me. Inhale 4, hold 4, exhale 6. When I open the door, they surge in like floodwater. Mom's eyes are rimmed in red, mascara smudged, her tissue damp, but held like a prop. Jessica trails behind, belly rounder now, hand resting protectively. Dad hovers at the threshold, face drawn with practiced concern. The neighbors are watching, I murmur. Let them, Mom wails. Everyone should see what you're doing to this family. She takes her place near the window, where the light catches her tears. Jessica sinks into the sofa, hand never leaving her stomach. Dad positions himself by the door, arms crossed. A coordinated assault. Mom strikes first. Your father might lose his job over this. His boss is friends with our attorney. Jessica leans forward, voice trembling. And everyone at the hospital is talking. Do you want your career destroyed too? Dad adds the final blade. Legal fees will bankrupt all of us. Nobody wins if you drag this through court. Their words ricochet around the room, rehearsed, synchronized. I study their faces the way I study vitals, looking for panic, for patterns. I recognize it. Desperation disguised as certainty. Would you like some coffee? I ask softly. The question knocks them off balance. They exchange glances, confused. We didn't come for coffee, Jessica snaps. I know why you came. I cross to my desk where a manila folder waits, precisely centered. I place it on the coffee table. The sound is deliberate, final. Mom flinches. This, I say, sliding out the first page, is the warranty deed with my signature. I lay it flat. And this is the quitclaim deed with what appears to be my signature, except I never signed it. Mom opens her mouth, but I raise my hand. She falls silent instantly. I add the handwriting analyst's report. Certified forgery. Then the bank statements. Every payment from me. Then the county record. No foreclosure, not once. Finally, Tom's sworn affidavit, his words detailing conversations he overheard between Mom and Jessica. With each page, color drains from Mom's face. Jessica shifts uncomfortably, her eyes darting to the door. Dad lowers himself into the armchair, his hands trembling against the fabric. Jessica's phone buzzes. She fumbles it out, face paling as she reads. Tom says the police just left his place. They're asking about the notary. Her voice cracks. He's leaving me. Says he can't trust me. Mom's sweetness dissolves, anger seeping through. What have you done? I keep my voice steady. What I had to. Dad whispers, almost to himself, criminal charges. His voice is small, stripped of bluster. Jessica turns on Mom, panic sharpening her tone. You said it would be okay. Mom tries one last time, reaching for my hand. You've always been so independent, Emmie. Too independent. Jessica needs stability. The baby needs... What Jessica needs isn't mine to give anymore. I pull my hand back. I rise, walk to my bedroom, and return with a document bearing the court's seal. This is a settlement agreement. If you sign, no criminal charges proceed. If you refuse, the prosecutor gets everything. Dad takes the paper, his voice trembling as he reads aloud. Full restoration of property ownership to Emmie Vale, payment of all legal fees, 90-day, no-contact provision. Jessica's face crumples. What about the baby? Where will we live? The same place you lived before you tried to steal my house, I answer, placing a pen in front of them. One by one they sign. Dad first, shoulders hunched. Jessica next, tears dripping onto the page. Mom last, her signature sharp and angry, like she's cutting into the paper itself. The pen scratches against paper, marking the end of something fragile and false. When they leave, the apartment feels cavernous, the silence thick. I sink into the sofa, adrenaline finally releasing, my hands trembling uncontrollably. My phone rings. Michael's name glows on the screen. Congratulations, he says when I tell him. The house is yours again. I stare at the signed agreement on the table. My house, my victory. So why does it feel like grief instead of triumph? A gentle knock interrupts. Sarah stands there, bottle of wine in one hand, 2 glasses in the other. She takes one look at me and says softly, because winning doesn't heal betrayal. Her words land like truth spoken over ashes. I nod, letting her in, the settlement papers still on the table between us, heavy as stone. The for sale sign goes up 2 weeks later, its metal stake piercing the front yard like a marker for something buried. I stand on the porch, keys in my pocket, watching the realtor snap photos with her tablet. Sunlight spills across the refinished hardwoods, the gleaming kitchen island, the windows Jessica had insisted on dressing with floor-length drapes. None of it feels like mine. I never meant to live here, I confess to Marjorie, the silver-haired realtor who has handled the listing with calm efficiency. This house was always a battlefield. I want to start fresh. She nods, understanding in her eyes. Sometimes the best return isn't financial, it's peace. When the closing papers come, I sign them without ceremony. The numbers tally neatly. $395,000 sale price clears the mortgage, reimburses my savings, and leaves me with enough to choose something smaller, quieter, something untainted. 2 months later, I walk through the front door of a $310,000 cottage in Greeley. White paint peeling gently on the wraparound porch, maple trees shading the lawn. 2 bedrooms, a small garden out back, windows that creak but open wide enough to breathe. For the first time in years, I feel ownership not just of property, but of choice. Congratulations, Ms. Vale, the closing attorney says as he slides the mortgage across the table. My voice doesn't waver when I reply, thank you. The cottage fills quickly with signs of life. Sarah brings boxes of her old cookbooks. Michael delivers a potted fern with a tag that reads low maintenance, like my clients should be. Dr. Wilson arrives one evening with a carefully wrapped package, an antique brass nursing lamp, its patina glowing under the living room light. For your study, he explains. A reminder that healing others begins with healing yourself. I host a small housewarming. The air smells of lasagna and fresh paint. Laughter bounces off the walls, warm and unforced. Sarah raises her glass. To Emmie, who taught us what courage looks like. I meet their eyes, colleagues, cousins, chosen family, and lift my own glass. To chosen family who stand by you in truth. The golden afternoon light filters through curtains I picked myself, falling across walls painted colors I chose. For once, nothing in this space was dictated by guilt or manipulation. Later, Amanda, the new ICU nurse, helps me collect plates. She hesitates before speaking. My parents, they wanted law school. They think nursing is settling. Sometimes I wonder if I've let them down. Her voice carries a weight I recognize like a scar. I place the stack of dishes aside and meet her eyes. Your worth isn't measured by their approval. Trust what calls to you. Her eyes widen, relief breaking through. I never thought of it that way. After everyone leaves, the house exhales into quiet. I carry a tray of seedlings to the backyard, kneel in soft soil, and plant perennials that will return year after year. Roots of my choosing, in ground no one can take. When the mail arrives, a small envelope bears Jessica's handwriting. Inside are photos of my newborn niece, pink-cheeked, swaddled, impossibly innocent. I trace the baby's face with my thumb. Hello, little one, I whisper. There's no resentment toward this blameless new life, only a pang for what she's born into. The next morning, I hang a small embroidered sign in the entryway. Family is earned, not given. Beneath it begins a wall of photographs, Sarah laughing at the lake, Michael triumphant with his legal brief, the ICU team crammed around a Christmas tree. Each frame a testament to loyalty chosen, not demanded. One frame remains empty, a note tucked inside, for whatever comes next. Standing in the doorway, silhouetted against the warm light within, I realize that for the first time, I am no longer waiting for my family to decide who I am. I have chosen it myself. And the house, the ghost I sold, made that choice possible. 3 months pass, and the quiet of the cottage settles into my bones like a long exhale. Morning sunlight filters through maple branches onto the porch where I sip coffee without fear of who might come pounding at my door. The garden has begun to take root, tiny green shoots pushing through soil, proof that something planted with care will return faithfully in its own season. The settlement's no-contact clause keeps the phone mercifully silent, though every once in a while I catch myself glancing at it, half expecting another performance text. Instead, what arrives is different. One evening, the screen lights with a number I don't recognize. The voice on the other end is hesitant, almost fragile. Emmie, it's Jessica. I close my eyes, pulse quickening. Why are you calling? Her breath hitches. I'm not calling for Mom or Dad, just me. I wanted to apologize. The silence between us is heavy, stretching years of unspoken things. Finally, I ask, apologize for what exactly? For going along with it. For wanting stability so badly, I let her talk me into stealing yours. Tom left. He couldn't handle the lies, and now I see. She'd do the same to me if it suited her. Her voice cracks. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't know who I am without her telling me. Her words sting in a way victory never numbs. I picture her alone, holding the baby, realizing too late that alliance with our mother is a cage disguised as protection. You don't get forgiveness today, I say softly, but you might earn it tomorrow. Not from Mom's shadow, from your own choices. A long pause. Can I send you pictures of the baby? Just so she knows her aunt exists, even if... Her words trail off. I hesitate, then whisper, send them. Because the child is blameless, and some threads are too innocent to cut. After the call, I sit in my study, surrounded by frames on the wall. Sarah laughing at the lake, Michael grinning outside the courthouse, Dr. Wilson at my housewarming, lamp in hand. The ICU team packed into my kitchen, raising glasses, each frame a declaration. Family is not who claims you. Family is who shows up when the ground cracks. And then the empty frame, still waiting, its note tucked inside, for whatever comes next. I lift it, hold it in my hands, and feel no rush to fill it. It can wait, for a new friend, a child, a future love, or maybe just a version of myself I haven't met yet. The space isn't loss, it's possibility. That night, Sarah sits with me on the porch, the maple leaves rustling above like applause. Do you ever think you'll let them back in? She asks gently. I watch the horizon, where the last light softens into indigo. Maybe, but only if they come as people who respect boundaries, not as family who think blood is a free pass. Sarah nods, clinking her glass to mine. Then you've already won. The air is cool, the kind that smells of damp soil and tomorrow. For the first time in years, my shoulders carry only their own weight. No debts, no false obligations, just me, my cottage, and a life rebuilt brick by honest brick. I glance once more at the empty frame, and for the first time, instead of dreading what my family might steal, I wonder, quietly, curiously, what I might choose to place there. Whatever it is, it will be mine.